The battle HUD starts out pretty simple. Of course, it's in black and white, but the main parts are still understandable even with the two colors. There is sort of an arrow formation for the side of your Pokemon info HUD that points to your Pokemon so that you have a little bit better understanding of which is your Pokemon. The level is showcased with the letter L, and besides the HP bar there is also a numerical value, so that you can tell the amount by that if you prefer so. The standard 4 options, which are Fight, Pokemon, Item and Run, are also here on the same screen. The XP bar is also barely visible on top of the arrowish bottom border. The first changes are slim yet needed. Since genders have been added, of course the need of displaying it also shows up, in this case on the right of the level text, which has been shifted to the right side to make the whole HUD tighter and compressed. The HP bar has green and dark coloring added to it to make it more visible, and the arrow pointed at your Pokemon is also made to take up less space. The XP bar is slightly better since it gets its blue coloring. Come to the text box with the message, "What will blank do?" Also, now that there is way more colors added, the developers can get more creative. Now the whole display HUD has a black line around it, and instead of a full arrow there, now is a triangle right next to the Pokemon. Gender now is colored and put next to the name, and levels are now symbolized with an LV instead of an L. The XP bar gets dedicated text and also a better bar for it. In the action menu, item is now called bag, and it has switched places with Pokemon. The enemy's Pokemon doesn't show its XP bar, which thank fucking god it doesn't. This is the first game which has different HUDs between games in the same generation. The XP bar no longer has its XP text, which was very short-lived. I probably could make a joke about BDSP's lifespan here, but I don't want to make fun of something that is dead, out of slim respect I still have. The HP bar is more compressed and refined thanks to the DS's hardware. Gender symbol now is next to the LV, and the triangle is closer to the middle of the HUD's side. This is also the first gen that has its battle options on a different screen, while the action text box stays on the same screen. I will not be covering the second screens, since they have mostly just visual changes, but if anything significant gets changed or added, I'll let you know. The info HUD is now compressed a bit. The color is switched to a dark grey and black tone. The triangle is now an arrow again, which now lines up with a HP bar. The XP bar now, in my opinion, is way better since it does its objective well and doesn't take up any unnecessary space. Coloring now changes, turning into a silver coloring and the HP text being in gold color. I wonder what it's referencing. Otherwise it has refined the stuff Platinum had, but this time making the XP bar even smaller. Big changes are introduced again. The box of the info HUD is shrunken down a lot and split in two and colored in black and white. The names, genders and level stand on top of the box. The XP bar from Gen 4 remains. The action text box is see-through and the action menu is in Pokeball formation with Wi-Fi geared info and in the middle of both screens. Info HUD is merged and now fully black. The XP text and striped XP bar makes a return from Gen 3. Otherwise the rest is pretty much identical. Well, maybe a mention could go to the fact that HP text changed from green to white, but if it's important, it's up to you. Upgraded immensely by going into 3D, in the meantime the head gets dumbed down. I don't know what sort of depth does the XP text have, but it's cut out of the family picture again. The striped XP bar is also nowhere to be seen, and the box coloring is now see-through. Now only the HP bar has a grey border. The Pokemon names and gender/levels get smushed together. Truly tragic. For the action menu, specifically Move Select will now show a Mega Evolve button if your current Pokemon can Mega Evolve. a bit better. ORAS spices up the coloring a bit by throwing in some red and black. I must say that is a fancy color combo. The box is still see-through, but not even close to as much as in XY. Otherwise, it's again mostly the same. Then we get my favorite box formation of the info HUD, a teal color stroke on the screen. The HP bar becomes more vibrant, while the HP text gets removed for the first time. The Pokemon name and gender/level text goes through divorce and split up again, and lastly, the HP text gets moved to the left. As for the action menu, a button for Z moves shows up if you have one available. There is now text to show which move is super or not super effective, info on both Pokemon, and a shortcut for Pokeballs. Some fine changes, but maybe except the move effectiveness text, depending on who you ask. Starting off with a punch in the nuts, the info HUD loses its magnificent background to replace with a bland dark blue box. The XP bar becomes shorter, sucks to be him. Although the stupid HUD background change, at least they add something kinda but not as close as before cool. Different info HUD box for the enemy, which is dark greenish color. Hey, that's at least something. Since this is the first game to be on the Switch, it is also the first to mush everything onto one screen again. In the result, we get the action menu on the same screen this time, but without run this time, since you can't run away from trainer battles. And catching is butchered in this game, and technically it isn't a battle anymore, so yay me, I don't have to cover it. Anyways, the Pokeball icons are now on top of the info's HUDs, and the box itself gets modernized with more vibrant and saturated colors, with a slim gradient look. Otherwise, it's similar to the previous iteration. Of course, after many improvements that were kept and also got added more on top of, in this generation we start with an almost clean slate. The box is blank white, the gender symbol cheats on the level text and moves over to the Pokemon name text's house. An XP bar gets bullied yet again. The run option returns, since battles with wild Pokemon is fortunately a thing again. The bag isn't shown here, since I'm too lazy to find a different image. Stupid low resolution images. Now the info page is accessible with the Y button, and Pokemon info is with the plus button. The Pokeball bars are pushed into the corners. Okay, this pretty much is the same as Diamond and Pearl's HUD, but with slim changes since everything needs to be on the same screen. The Pokeball shortcut is here too. XP bar is slimmed down again, fat L for it. In other words, I would say it is a Sword Shield and Diamond Pearl info HUD hybrid. Although the small triangle that points to Pokemon is no more. Yet again, a huge redesign of the HUD as a whole. An action order screen is added, there are black borders added for cinematic effect. The info HUD's background is finally a paint stroke again, only with a bit washed out color, but I'm not complaining. The biggest change for the enemy info HUD is also here. It floating above the enemy Mon's head, hence in a way having a whole new HUD dedicated to itself. XP bar gets wiped for good, only to appear after the battle. RIP XP bar, you might finally rest without getting smacked around. The movie screen is also most stylized, with battle style icons and slimmed down boxes, but they lose a lot of color that matches the move's type, only being with the type icon on the left. Other than that, I would say this game had some nice HUDs. In conclusion, what do I think and which is my favorite? Well, firstly, I think no one really gives a shit about a HUD. Well, of course it's important how the layout is divided and you're able to tell what's what, but other than that, who cares that the HP text isn't there or the HUD box is black instead of white, or whatever different color. I mean, yeah, it's cool to have preferences and other cool niche stuff, but it's best for them, in my opinion, to make a simple aesthetic HUD and move on so that more important things get more polish. And now, being contradictory, my favorite HUD. I'll try not to be biased. Gen 5. So, after looking all over the HUDs again, okay, some probably know which is the one that is my favorite, since I gushed so much about it. And yeah, you're correct, it's Sun and Moon. But not Ultra Sun and Moon, that's the total opposite. We don't talk about it. The paint stroke, the layouts for the action menu and info HUDs, it all fits together. My only wish is that the effectiveness text was toggleable. But hey, if the XP share can't be made like that, why the fuck would they do it for such a minuscule thing? Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this surprise video, and as for feedback, what did you think of this video? Did you like this style of video, or do you prefer free short videos that usually won't have voiceover? Let me know. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. See ya!